bank Bruno. Crunch time over key midfielder. United need to make massive contract offer to keep skipper. I was hunting around for quotes and details here. The one that really stands out, John, is £400,000 a week. Will that be enough to convince Bruno to commit his future to Old Trafford?
Well, I think this is going to be a heart-rending story, really, in a way, because I just think that Bruno, a month or so ago was making it clear that he thought the club was trying to sell him from underneath himself, if you like. What was it, last summer, basically saying that we're ready to cash in. He was kind of painting this picture. It's almost him against the hierarchy. So I do think we're going to sort of kind of move into a period where he's definitely going to kind of assert his value to the team. My word, he did that on the pitch yesterday at the Emirates, didn't he? So he's incredibly valuable. I do think last couple of games he's been absolutely fantastic, and I think it's good to see him back in his kind of traditional role, if you like, a traditional position in the team. And look, I think there would be a lot of interest. The only thing, obviously, that counts against him is his age, potentially. But this is a player that's so popular, understandably so for United fans. And look, I do think he's a player that will know his worth. And basically, we are coming to that point when United absolutely have to make a decision. I think in the past, they might have cashed in if he wasn't playing in his proper position. But my word, when he does, in that number 10 role, and is the absolute central force, United without Bruno is something United fans at the moment wouldn't want to face, because he's the driving force behind this Carrick new vision, I think.
Do you know what? They're going to have a lot of big decisions to make in the summer, aren't they? Not just in terms of Bruno Fernandes, also, as you say, Michael Carrick. And if Bruno Fernandes were to go, well, let's head into the sun. Star keen on move home. Cold Trafford. Palmer up for switch to Boyhood Club United. Boyhood Club, you can see there in set as a kid, young Palmer in United top. There he is. Is he the answer then, James?
I mean, it's hard not to link these two stories, isn't it? Because if you are going to make a decision on Bruno Fernandes, he's 32 in September. United have made a habit in the past of handing out massive contracts to ageing players. Now, look, Bruno Fernandes seems to be at the top of his game right now, and obviously a talismanic figure. So I'm not necessarily saying he falls into that category, but his age is a factor. That is a huge salary to be giving out. And if someone like Cole Palmer, who obviously can occupy the same position, is a lot younger, is a Manchester boy, a United fan, and if he was to become available, then that would... I mean, I know what John says about, United fans wouldn't necessarily want to see Bruno Fernandes going, but if it was Bruno Fernandes going and Cole Palmer coming in, that's a pretty good solution to that issue. But what this does also raise about just Chelsea and their contract policy, I mean, we know it's sort of well documented that Chelsea have handed out these 6, 7, 8-year deals to players. Cole Palmer's on a long deal himself, I think to 2032 or something like that. It's a very, very long deal. We've not seen yet a player try to get themselves out of that. And, it would be interesting to see if Palmer wants to force his way out of Chelsea. And let's be clear, that's what he would have to do, because Chelsea would have no intention of selling Palmer. He's very much the sort of poster boy of the Blueco era. He's one of their successful transfer stories, and really, I think from their point of view, vindicates their contract policy, which is where they give these players these long deals, but they're heavily incentivised, so they start on a smoller wage. And the idea is, if you hit your goal, win bonuses, all these targets, that triggers an increase in your overall salary, and it motivates these young players to be, performing for the club, growing together, and that's kind of it's central to their whole philosophy. So what we've not seen is a player try and get himself out of that, and look, whether Palmer is going to do that or not remains to be seen. Obviously, it wouldn't happen in January. Whether it's something he'll try and do in the summer, we'll have to wait and see. I guess the other thing to consider is the two sides are obviously going for Champions League football, and if United could offer that, they're above Chelsea at the moment in the table, that would make it more appealing for him. But it feels a long way off to me, a Cole Palmer move from Chelsea to United, unless he really wants to throw his toys out of the pram and try and force it.